Hi, friends and family. So good to have you with us today as we press pause on life and just think about some things that I believe God has for us today. I like to describe the life that we've been given as a journey. We're all on a journey that is leading us somewhere. For some of you, you know exactly where you're going and you know how to get there. For others, we know where we'd like to go, but we struggle with directions, especially if you're a bloke, and we even struggle with the motivation to do something about it. But then there are others who feel stuck. You might be one of them, where you feel like you're not on a journey or on a road, you're on a set of tracks and you can't move. You feel stuck in that place. And I'm sure you would agree with me that feeling stuck is a horrible, horrible feeling. I hate that feeling so much. It's horrible when we get stuck in a point of time that we cannot control, that we cannot understand and cannot even see changing anytime soon. But in the season that we all find ourselves in, I believe this subject is very relevant for us today. To consider the journey that we're on. To also consider where the journey is taking us. It's actually a great time to do so because quite a lot of us are actually quite rich with time right now. We can stop, we can think, we can evaluate how things are going, and perhaps even readjust the course before we go any further. I don't know about you, but I want to come out on the other side of all of this with a clearer understanding of the journey that I'm on, and to also be more intentional about it. I sense that some of you watching also have some deep questions. You're wondering what all of this means and what is happening next, really where to from here. And you might even feel that all that you've known and understood has been stripped from you. It feels like the rug has been pulled out from under you and you're trying to understand and discern what you've been left with. A few weeks ago, in another message that I preached, I spoke about what I sense God is doing in this time. And we've called it a global reset. From a Christian's perspective, it feels like God is giving us an opportunity to get back to what really matters. To get back to what really matters. Now, maybe you haven't considered that God is active through this time. But let me assure you, God is not some silent spectator out there somewhere. Just watching, just from a distance, not getting involved, not having to say anything about all this. But I don't believe that to be true because I have a deep conviction that God is up to something and God is speaking. I know many of us are asking this question. What is this new normal that we are told to get used to? You maybe heard it on the news and heard it on various other programs that we are entering into a life where it feels like it's a new normal. But what does that actually look like? Where do we head from here? What will my new normal look like? It feels so uncertain. It feels unstable and very mysterious. Things are changing. Truth to be told, even when we're looking to those that are leading us for definite answers, they can't give them to us. You see, we're navigating uncharted waters right now. We're looking to them for answers, but so are they. My heart really goes out to our national leaders, particularly our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, and our premiers around Australia to figure out how to do this well and how to get out of this undamaged, without scars, and moving forward. But what about you? How are you really going through all of this? We're all facing many different emotions. We're all faced with situations that we would never have dreamed of encountering in the year 2020. It's quite overwhelming, isn't it? I mean, come on, which one of you parents actually have freaked out this past week when all of a sudden you had to become a teacher to your children at home? You know, in Victoria, our government has banned any students going to school unnecessarily. Now, I was confronted with this in this past week when Wednesday was the beginning of term 2 for both of my sons. And my youngest son, Joel, I had to sit with him on Wednesday morning. and try and figure out all of this new whiz-bang technology that they're using now, the student portal, the modules that they have to access, these assignments. And he's in year 7, and I couldn't believe it, how old I felt. All of that seemed so foreign to me. To be honest, I got so overwhelmed that I had to stop and say, listen, buddy, where's your mum? I had to try to handball it to the woman in my life, my precious wife, that I call the solutionist. You see, she tells me all the time that she has the solution to everything. Well, now it is put to the test. But thankfully, she stepped in her calm, beautiful nature, and sorted it out. Then Thursday came. And the same thing happened again. I got overwhelmed, and I think, how do we do this for a whole term? I'm just praying that it all changes very, very quickly. But how can we get through this undamaged? How can we get through this with our sanity intact and actually have hope for the journey ahead? In that video that we opened up with in our time together, there was a really great line that said this: we all follow someone, and the identity of the one calling us determines how we follow. The truth is, every leader is also a follower. Even our top-tier leaders in government over nations have also had to learn how to be good followers. Sometimes, even in their current state, sometimes they follow the opinion polls. That'll determine how they feel. They can follow the opinions of certain individuals around them who they've given permission to speak into their lives. Sometimes leaders will follow the demands of big money givers. They will follow their own agenda, their own ideas, their own opinions. But we all follow someone. Every one of you watching follows someone. And if we all follow someone, I think it's wise for us to ask the question, firstly, who am I following, and where are we going? Think about all of the news that we are bombarded with every day now. You switch on the TV and it's report after report about this virus that is this pandemic that is ravaging our planet Earth. And there are many forecast models that they've put into place that are giving us quite grim news for the next few months of this year. Last week I was watching a well-known morning breakfast TV show, and a comment was made which really caught my attention. And if I allowed myself to lock in on that comment, I would have had a terrible day and a terrible few weeks leading after it. But the comment was this: the worst is yet to come. I'm sure you would agree with me that if we choose to follow that mindset and that opinion, things can go south pretty quickly, because we all follow someone. But we get to choose who that will be, and then trust is at play that they know where we're going. Now, that can be a good thing, and that can be good for us, or they can take us on a journey that we don't necessarily want to go on. So my question for us today is this: is there a better way? Is there someone that we can trust in this season of unknowns, in this season of instability and uncertainty? I mean, can we expect to come out of this more caring, more loving, more engaged, more hopeful, more peaceful, more graceful, more thoughtful, and possibly even healthier? I think we can. Why? Because what I said before, we all follow someone, and the identity of the one calling us determines how we follow. You probably know where I'm about to go with this. As Christians, in this time, we have been forced to look at our faith. We've been forced to have an honest look at what is it that we have really, really, truly been relying on. What do we actually believe about God during all of this? What does the church look like now? We can't meet in our buildings. I mean, we're doing this because we can't meet physically in our building this day. What does the church look like? What does the future look like for us? All I can say with that in mind is that this is good for us. I know it feels a little bit uncomfortable. I know it feels a little bit shaky, but this is good for us. It's not good what is happening with this virus, about how it takes lives and how it's infecting people in the millions now. That's not good. But what I want to show you is this. God has a way of turning a mess into a message of hope and victory. God always has a way of turning around our mess. You see, think about this. If I know the one that I'm following to be trustworthy, full of wisdom, full of love for me, then the road ahead is not my focus, is it? My focus then becomes on staying as close to Him as I possibly can. If I trust Him completely that He knows where He's going and where He's taking me is good, it's excellent, it's amazing, the road doesn't concern me anymore. Jesus said something very unique to Him many, many years ago. And we find that in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 6. Look at the words of Jesus here. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. That's a remarkable statement. And the amazing thing about what Jesus said here is that He's saying the path or the way that you're looking for, it's not some static road that I'll point you to. No, He's saying the path or the way is me. Jesus said that He is the way. He not only knows the way, He is the way. But what does that actually mean? In the teachings of Jesus, He often said things that forced people to stop and readjust their thinking for it to make sense. He still does it today, by the way. What Jesus is doing here, he was talking to a people that were so familiar with religious practices and a religious system. It was central to their society. So Jesus is saying, okay, I'm not going to give you another set of rules for you to follow. I'm not going to give you a box to tick or point you to a way that you should go on. No, I'm breaking down all of those religious walls and all of those religious barriers, and I'm inviting you into a relationship with me because I am the way, not something else and not anyone else. He's saying this, connect your life to mine. And the thing that your soul craves the most, even though you might not understand it right now, the thing your soul craves the most, you will find on our journey together. That brings me a lot of hope. You see, Jesus always goes for the heart. He also speaks of a destination in that verse in John 14, verse 6. And who is the destination? Where are we going? He's pointing to the Father. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the destination, the Father, except through me. He's saying, except through me. In order to get to where you're made to get to, where you were born to get to, you need to attach your life to me. Call it heaven, call it eternity, call it paradise, call it God's kingdom, whatever term you use, Jesus is always about relationship. He points to the Father. You see, what I've discovered is this. Religion to God is very different to relationship with God. It's a very important thing to understand here. Religion to God is very different to relationship with God. If you're caught up in religion, what you are forced to do is be obligated to a set of religious rules, be also commanded to follow various rituals with the hope that you will say enough, that you will do enough, that you will behave enough in order for God to accept you and love you. But here Jesus comes on the scene and breaks all that apart, shatters all of those boxes that people tried to shove him into. And Jesus is saying, no. It's all in that heart connection. I'm leading you into a relationship with the Father. He is your destination. I'm not inviting you into a religious system to make you more religious. That's not what Jesus is doing at all. You see, the problem with religion is that it's telling you that you need to do enough on your own effort, by your own good works, and only then will God accept you. That's not what Jesus is about. No matter how good our works are, no matter how good of a person you may be, God is not impressed by any of that. You see, He goes after your heart. He wants you to understand that no amount of behavior, no amount of good attitudes and good deeds will get you into the place that you are destined to be. It's all through relationship. And when He sees you, He doesn't see you as some religious slave. He doesn't see you as someone striving and begging to be loved and begging to be known and belong. No, He's saying, I love you now. Hold my hand and let's go on the journey together to the ultimate destination. That is your life purpose, dear one. No matter your age, no matter your background or experience, God created you for relationship. Listen, He chose you. He knows you. He loves you. He pursues you. That's a remarkable thing to get your mind around and wrap your heart around as well. That is what Jesus is pointing to here. Not a bunch of rules, not some system, not some formula, not some method. Relationship. God is building a family. He's building a family, not an organization called the church, not an institution called the church, not a religion called Christianity. He is building a family, and family is centered around relationship. He's building sons and daughters who love Him as a father. Now, I'm convinced of this. If we, the church, correctly portray the true nature of Jesus and what He's actually done, the world would find Him irresistible. Jesus made a lot of amazing statements, but this one in particular I really love. It's in John chapter 10, verse 10, and He said this, I have come to give you everything in abundance, more than you expect, life in its fullness until you overflow. Other versions of the Bible call it the abundant life. Jesus is actually comparing Himself to the devil, who is also very real and also has a plan for your life. You see, the devil is described in John 10:10 as the one who comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. The devil wants nothing but destruction for you and your family, destruction over your mind, destruction over your ambitions, destruction over your dreams and your eternal soul. But Jesus is saying, no, I have come that you may have abundant life. What does this abundant life look like in a practical sense? It's the abundance of joy beyond external circumstances. Wouldn't you love to have that? Abundance of hope in the midst of a despairing world. Abundance of peace in the face of fear and worry and anxiety. Abundance of comfort when it all feels like it's collapsing around you. Abundance of love that daily reminds you that you're not alone, you're not abandoned, you are not rejected. Abundance of faith to believe that God's power can and will flow in every situation you face as you journey with Jesus. Abundance of grace that should you fall, He's there to pick you up again. So not only is Jesus the way to this abundant life, not only is Jesus the truth of who God is, not only is Jesus the life of salvation in eternity, you've been created for this. Dear friend, please hear me now. My heart for you today is not to try and convince you to join a religious system, to come to our church organization. No. My heart for you today is that you will understand how loved you are. You will understand that there is a God who chose you, who knows you, who loves you, who is calling you. I'll say it again. You're made for this. You were born for this. Could God be using this strange season that we are all in to get your attention and say this? Hey, listen, I'm still here. I never left. You're not meant to burn yourself out in this rat race. You're not meant to strive to be someone of significance. You are made for so much more. You're made to journey with me, God says. He calls you his child. He's calling you his child. In my case, I just want to share a bit of my own story with you as I bring our time to a close slowly. I tried everything possible to stay away from church, to be as far as I could from Christians, and to have nothing to do with God. I tried very hard because my perception of all of that was not very pretty. I grew up in church, and sadly I got to see the good, the bad, and the ugly, but I latched onto the ugly. And what that did, it fueled my hatred for Christianity. It fueled my hatred for church and my great dislike. I never could say that I hated God. I greatly disliked him, to be honest. But having been hurt by God and the church, it didn't take long for me to say, never again. I'm done with Christians. I'm done with seeing all the division and the arrogance and the religious pride. I'm done with feeling judged. These people say they love, but I see no evidence of it. And as for God, well, I judged him according to how his people behaved. I thought, if they are like that, how must he be like? I didn't want anything to do with any of them. And I knew that there were good and loving and gracious Christians. I knew they existed. But I focused on the ones that justified my own rejection of God. I used them as an escape clause. But one night many years ago, over 25 years ago now, I didn't encounter another Christian. I didn't find myself in a church service. No, I met Jesus. Or should I say, on the road I was walking, Jesus stepped in and met me. It shocked me because I wasn't expecting to see him that evening. I wasn't expecting to meet him. I felt like Jesus stepped in my way and went face to face with me, looked into my eyes and said this, Mark, I love you. Mark, I died for you. I died for your sins. And even while you were rejecting me, even while you were running away from me and turning your back on me, I pursued you out of love. I gave my life for you. I came after you. In that one encounter with Jesus in that evening, I was never the same again. All of my reasons why I shouldn't turn to God, all of my reasons why and all of my excuses as to why this wasn't for me, all melted in one encounter with true love, with the one who made me. I didn't feel condemned. I didn't feel judged. I didn't feel rejected. All I felt was amazing grace, indescribable mercy. It felt so undeserved. You see, that night, all of my hatred towards the church, towards Christians and Christianity meant nothing. Jesus pushed it away. That night I met the one who knows me best. Suddenly, I started loving what he loves. I find it quite strange that I'm actually talking to you today in this way as a church pastor. Miracles do happen. Miracles do happen. You're never too far away from God. You're never untouchable, unreachable. He knows where you are. He's looking at you right now. He's touching your heart as I speak. Don't reject him. Don't resist him. You're made for this. See, I tried to run, but he got me. He pursues you in love because of love. In our church, since day one, There's a motto that pretty much shapes the culture of who we are, and it's this. It's about relationship, not religion. We live and breathe this statement. This statement determines what we do and what we don't do. It determines how we interact with each other, how we do life with each other, and how we react, respond, worship, pray, give in our relationship with God. So, dear friend, you too are on a journey. Maybe your journey up to this point hasn't had any influence of God in it, but I think otherwise. You can continue on the road that you're on. You can keep Jesus at a distance and remove him from your entire life story. You're more than welcome to do that. But why? There is a better way. There is a better way. Where to from here? Well, the choice is completely yours. You can switch this off. You can forget and disregard everything I've talked to you about today. But why? Don't hold your breath to wait until something different happens. Don't hold your breath until you figure out what this new normal that everyone's talking about will look like. Hey, you can create the new normal now by simply saying yes to God, by simply allowing his embrace, by simply walking into relationship. You're given a very unique, life-changing opportunity in this moment. You see, I have a belief that you are watching this for a very specific reason. God wanted you to hear this. God wants you to know how loved you really are, that you are not forgotten, that you are not so far gone that he cannot reach you with love and grace and mercy and forgiveness. You see, when love came down in the form of Jesus Christ, everything changed. We're going to worship God now and talk about a relevant song for the moment. The song is actually titled Love Came Down. So just let these words wash over you. Let the truth of what we're about to sing just take over your heart. Because the gospel, which is good news, that's what it means, includes you. Let's worship God together now.
If my heart is overwhelmed and I cannot hear your voice, I'll hold on to what is true, though I cannot see. If the storms of life they come and the road ahead gets steep, I will lift these hands in faith, I will believe. I remind myself of all that you've done and the life I have because of your Son. Love came down and rescued me. Love came down and set me free. I am yours, I am forever yours. The mountain high or valley low, I'll sing, I'll remind my soul, I am yours, I am forever yours. When my heart is filled with hope and every promise comes my way, when I feel your hands of grace rest upon me, staying desperate for you, God, staying humbled at your feet, I will lift these hands in praise, I will believe. I remind myself of all that you've done and the life I have because of your Son. Love came down and rescued me. Love came down and set me free. I am I'm yours forever. I'm yours forever. I'm yours forever, my Lord. And I'm yours forever. I'm yours forever. I'm yours forever, my Lord. Sing, I'm yours, and I'm yours forever. And I'm yours forever. And I'm yours forever, my Lord. I'm yours forever. And I'm yours forever. And I'm yours forever, my Lord. Sing, love come down. Love came down and rescued me. Love came down and set me free. I am yours. I am forever yours.
Yes, God.
No mountain high or valley low, I'll sing out, remind my soul, I am yours. I am forever yours. And I am yours. I am yours. All my days, Jesus, I am yours. And I am yours. I am yours. All my days, Jesus, I am yours.
Love came down for you. You're not some unknown person in the midst of billions of people walking this planet. You are known. The Bible says something which is quite remarkable. It says God is so intimate, He's so personal that he knows how many hairs are on your head. Now, I know for some of us, some of you, I should say, that's quite easy, but for others of us with this flowing, beautiful mane of hair, that's a bit more difficult. But God is so interested. God is so interested that He actually takes the time to count the hairs on your head. He actually takes the time to listen to every word, every prayer. He actually takes the time to capture every tear. He watches you as you sleep. He watches you as you wake, as you go about your business. You are loved, dear one. You can't escape being loved like this. I believe that some of you want to start again. I sense that some of you have been on a journey and you don't like where it's taking you. You see, you've been on this road for many, many years, perhaps all of your life. And now you're coming to a point where you're realizing it all feels so unstable. It all feels so uncertain. I want to know where I'm going. I want to know who I'm following. And I want to be smart with that choice. Well, today you can. Don't be scared. Don't be skeptical. You're made for this. Yeah, you might say to me right now, Mark, yeah, but I'm not the religious type. I'm not the churchy type. Well, praise God, because either is Jesus. Jesus is not religious. Will you accept Him? Will you turn your heart affection to Him right now? Will you say something as simple as, Jesus, I want to know you. I want to be on your pathway. I want to align my life to your journey. I want you to lead. Jesus, as much as I understand in this moment, I give you my life. I surrender my heart to you. I say yes to a relationship with you, Jesus. And Jesus, I recognize that, I've sinned against you, I've made mistakes, and I've made some horrible decisions. But even those things you forgive, my God. God, here I am. As much as I know right now, I make a conscious decision to follow you. Now, friend, if that's something you'd like to do or have done, I'm so thankful. You see, that's what this is all about. That moment. If you did say something like that to Jesus, or you do say it in the coming days, can you please let me know? On your screen, you'll see my personal email, mark@thelivingroom.church. Feel free to drop me an email. Let me know the decision you've made. Let me know what you're feeling. You may be stirred right now and you're still trying to work it out. That's okay. God will not leave you. He's there listening. He's there waiting. Also, if you want to contact us on our Facebook page, The Living Room Church, please do that as well. You're more than welcome to. Another thing that we'll be doing after today's service is this. We're calling it the Living Room Chat. You'll find on that post on the Facebook page a Zoom link, and all you need to do is click that link and join us on the Living Room Chat that'll be occurring at 11:30 today. It'll just be a great time for us to see each other's faces, pray together, maybe dig a little bit deeper into that, a little bit deeper as to what we've heard today. And even if you want to share your experience, we'd be more than happy to hear it. So, friends, family, I really love being with you today. This week, I believe, can be the most amazing week you've lived, because what you've done is you've realigned your life to the one that knows where he's going. You don't need to be affected by all the things happening around you. You're made for this. You're made for this. I love you guys so much. Though I'm not with you in person right now, I'm looking at you through the lens of a camera. But I do pray for you. I do love you. But Jesus loves you more. Have a great week, dear family, and we'll see you during the week. God bless you.